Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Lady J, and welcome back to Ja Rules. It's been a few days, I guess, since I've done a tutorial. This is not going to be a tutorial, but rather just let's do some makeup and chit chat, okay? So I am not feeling 100% today. Since the 3rd of June, when I had my medical procedure, this infusion that I get every 6 months. So the side effects, they're bare. You know what I'm saying? They the bully on the block. Should I say it's the second bully on the block because the autoimmune disease is the first bully, okay? Let's get that straight off the top. The autoimmune disease is the bully, okay? Then here come another bully, as if we needed one, right? So I have a new setup today. As you can see, I'm recording from a wider lens. I'm using my laptop computer so I can see how this thing goes. Hopefully it goes okay. And then I can, once I learn how to edit and use my stuff that I be buying, okay? Once I learn how to use my stuff that I be buying, then I might be able to produce something better. Just want to make sure. So, like I said, this is not a tutorial, but So anyway, I'm trying to push through this because I've been wanting to do this all day. All day I've been procrastinating because I really could have went back to sleep shortly after I got up. I could have just went right back to sleep and stayed in bed. So I hope the music is not too loud I'm just looking in my mirror here to make sure that everything is everything before I move on. So I don't want to get no violation from either TikTok or YouTube to saying, oh, your music, you got copyright infringement or whatever. But I don't own the rights to any of this music. You hear me, YouTube? TikTok? First of all, the song is playing, so that's my mood today. you know, kind of, low key, chilled. You know what I mean? And jazz is my thing to do when I'm not 100%. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing just chilling right now, listening to some jazz, trying to get through the day, trying to get through another day dealing with these. Anyway, so how y'all doing? How's everybody doing? But today I want to talk about, so this is going to be a chit chat. Get ready with me. And where am I going? Nowhere. Nowhere. I got Raul blurred out in the background. But he is always watching to make sure that everything is everything. Okay? That's what he's doing. That's my boy. That's my boo thing. That's my baby love. That's my one true love. Okay? So, anyway, we're going to see how this beat turns out because I can pretty much look into my camera and do this. It's not quite the same as the mirror, which is why I got it close by. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So let's talk about conflict resolution. Okay? So I always try to have some sort of message, right? Some sort of positive message. So let's get into some positivity, okay? So let's see. I always try to share a personal example too with myself. Is the music too loud? Seems like it's too loud. Let me turn it down. 15, 14, 13. I hope that's better. I ain't turning it down no lower. YouTube, TikTok. Anyway, so, all right. So when I was like growing up, you know what I mean? When I was growing up, did they teach us anything about conflict resolution? See, I better do it over here so I can make sure I'm doing it right before I look into the camera. Get the shape right first. Get the shape right first. Okay, so when I was growing up, I guess our motto was, get upset and then, hey, you're on your own, okay? You're just on your own, all right? Figure it out. Just figure things out on your own, right? Emotionally. No emotional regulation, no conflict resolution skills were introduced into the family. So that's how I grew up, okay? And so that carried on with me, and I realized that I was what we know now, what we psychologists know now as being passive aggressive. Because, you don't really talk about things. You don't say anything, you don't confront anything because you don't know how. When you're growing up, you're just not taught to do that, okay? So you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to assert yourself. So that really is the happy medium, the middle, okay? The middle. That's where you want to be. But that has to be learned. It has to be taught. And you, if you don't know how to do that, have to want to do that, okay? You have to want to learn how to be assertive. You have to want to learn how to change your personality. You have to learn how to change your personality type or your communication style. You have to learn how to communicate better than what you do. If you know it's not effective, you're going to have to change it, right? You're going to have to change that because you can't keep, just waiting. You hold things in, right? You just hold things in. You don't say anything, and then you let everything build up, okay? You let everything build up. And then what is that going to do? What is that going to do after you feel like, okay, like Popeye, that's all I can stand. I can't stand no more, right? So what do? You blow up. You blow up or you just simply avoid, you know, the person or the situation altogether. That's what you do. Is that effective communication? No, it's not. Is that effective conflict resolution, problem solving? No, it's not. So what do? So when I was 25 years old and I first moved to Colorado, I was living with my brother and his wife and kids, and my oldest sister was living with. Well, she was here before I got here, and so I remember me and my sister-in-law, we were not getting along very well because I felt like she had a smart mouth. You know what I'm saying? She had a real nasty attitude, and I feel like every time I asked her something, she would have a smart responds. But I thought, I mean, maybe she didn't want me there, but hey, I got the green light to come, right? She had to approve it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But anyway, that was her problem. Her personality problems were her own and not mine. Nevertheless, she would always have something smart to say with a little attitude. And I'm thinking, okay, you got one more time. Okay? You got one more time. And that's it. And so one day, my youngest was 4. I think she was about to turn 5. And she asked her aunt a question. She asked her a question. A little 5-year old. Um, she asked her a question, and my sister in law got smart with her, right? A 5-year old. My baby girl. Okay. Okay. That was my cue. So what I did was, jump knee deep. Okay? Jump knee deep. That's what I did. So we get into it, and we're arguing, right? And I basically, tell her, watch your mouth. That's my baby. How dare you? You're grown up. How dare you get to treat a child like this? She's a little kid. What are you doing? So I said something during that argument. That was in the 90s when I was 25 years old. So I was screaming, we were just yelling at each other, right? And I said, and you don't even love my brother. You don't love my brother. You just, whatever I said, I did say that. You don't even love my brother. In that moment, I stopped, right? Caught myself right there and apologized to her in that moment. Because I knew what I said was like, how the hell do you know she don't love your brother? You know what I'm saying? You just spewing things out because you're angry. So you don't know. So I apologized. I said, I apologize for that. I had no right to say that. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize in that moment. Child, did I know anything about practicing conflict resolution? Mm-mm. I was fresh out the hood, okay, to Colorado, 25 years old. But I knew enough. My conscience got the best of me in that moment in the argument to say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. So from that moment on, as I grew older and became more educated and developed more relationships, I became well aware of my communications style and how I handle things. So, one sec, be right back. Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, in the moment when I was upset, I said something that I shouldn't have said, but I apologized. So, are you the type to know how to resolve your issues amicably, fairly, without name calling, without resorting to hitting below the belt? Can you do that? And if so, how did you learn it? What'd you do? If not, child, we got to talk, don't we? So, over the years, like I said, I learned how to communicate better. And one of the hardest things about conflicts, right, is the fact that each person thinks that his or her version is right. My side is right. He lying. She lying. She ain't telling the whole truth. You know? And so, therefore, that impedes their ability to listen to one another because they can't wait to speak, right? They can't wait to have their turn. So they're interrupting. I gotta look at my mirror over here. They interrupt, right? Because they just, but that's the whole reason why you're in conflict, right? We know that y'all are in conflict. I'm trying to look at my eyes and see what is going on. I mean, every time I try to do something, things start going wrong with my uh, tutorial. So, it's not a tutorial, but I'm just talking right now, right? Now, I know good and well I just cleaned under my eye, cleaned any fallout. Hold on, child. Hold on. See these inanimate objects in here? They know I don't feel well. So they're taunting me. Okay? That's right. Take advantage of the weak and the vulnerable. Okay? That's all right. I got something for you. The devil is a lie. Anyway, so how do y'all communicate? Right? Are you good communicators? Do you need help? If you do, Dr. Lady J is here to help. Yes, I'm speaking it into existence. Okay? I am speaking my doctorate into existence. I'm a few classes short of getting that doctor before my name. So, yes, I'm stepping out on faith and I am speaking it into existence. So, the doctor is in. So, talk to me about, I'd like to know what your conflict resolution skills are like. Okay, so here's some tips. Like if y'all having a disagreement and neither one of y'all can listen to, yeah, I say y'all, I do. Okay, that's my vernacular. So anyway, if you two can't resolve your issues with just the two of you, I would suggest that you get a mediator, third party, an unbiased person, not a family member, preferably, or a friend. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who is impartial to either one of you, who can hear and referee your exchange, and facilitate the communication that you need fairly, right? Without bias, without picking sides, but just hear each other out, okay, so that y'all can talk, right? So that's what I would suggest that you do, okay? Now, if you can't find nobody, if you can't find anybody to do that, then here's what I suggest. If you two cannot resolve your issues and y'all can't agree on the topic and y'all heated or you're just hurt, you're upset, how about this? Just try this, okay? Just check in with each other, find out, well, when is a good time? When is a good time for us to talk? Okay? Be intentional about, doing that, making an appointment. Because, when you're upset, that's not the best time to be trying to resolve an issue, right? I'm sure many of you probably already know that. So don't try to resolve the issue when you're upset. Don't force the other person to hear you out. Okay? Don't force the other person to listen to you because chances are it's not going to go well. It's still not going to go well. Okay? So be intentional about setting an appointment and make sure you keep that appointment. Make sure you keep that appointment because the relationship is worth it. The marriage is worth it. Right? Okay? So when you do that, I would also recommend not discussing anything serious in the bedroom. Okay, don't turn your bedroom into the courtroom because the bedroom is supposed to be a place of sanctuary and peace, um, and love and romance. When y'all can be in there dropping it like it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Jumping off the dresses and stuff. Yes. That's what the bedroom is supposed to be for. So don't argue in the bedroom because then where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? Where are you gonna storm off to? You have already tainted your sacred space. So do not, you hear me? Do not argue in the bedroom. Okay? The third tip is to, and this is the hardest one. Please listen to each other. Just listen to each other. Okay? Listen to each other. Hear each other out. I know it's difficult. Trust and believe me when I say it is difficult. But hear each other out because you're never going to know what the issues are, or you're never going to know what to resolve or what y'all fighting about if you can't hear each other out. Right? Right? So, as much as the urge to interrupt will be as strong as the urge will be to interrupt, please don't interrupt. Hear the person out. Now, If you're afraid that you're going to forget what you want to say, here's another tip. Write it down. Make some sentences or paragraphs or something like that. Use a recording, whatever you need to do in order to remember your talking points. That's really important. That way you don't throw everything and the kitchen sink at each other in a moment of heated fellowship. That's not going to help anyway. That's not going to help. Okay? So do those things, okay, to start with, to help you start communicating effectively. Now, I want to say this and then I'm going to be done, okay? I'm giving you my little 2 cents. These are pearls of wisdom, child, okay? Coming from the doctor, right? So I want to give a shout out to a special person in my life, okay? And recently we had ooh, you talking about the Hatfields and McCoys. You talking about the Hatfields and McCoys. We were going at it, right? But I want to shout him out because he was um, mature enough, I would say, to resolve the issue. Okay, to resolve the issues. So he suggested that we talk. I didn't want to because I felt like, okay, that's just going to escalate things again, right? So I was like, nah. So I had a good idea. I said, well, why don't we? Well, really, it came by accident, kinda, because I just finished doing a lot of homework, a lot of typing, a lot of research, a lot of this, a lot of that. So I was like, the last thing I'm going to do is type since I don't want to talk. So let's just do audios, just. And he did, and he agreed, and we did that. That's what we did. We sent audios back and forth to each other. One sec, be right back. So we agreed and we sent audios, right? And I think that was the best idea, the most effective way to hear each other out without interrupting. Okay. So, whatever feelings that I may have had while listening to what he was saying, I mean, what could I do? I couldn't say anything. I had to listen. I had to listen and hear the audio out. And I'm glad I suggested that because I really did not want to mess up resolving the issue with interrupting. So that's what we did. So I appreciate. I think it took us two or three audios a piece in order to hear each other out, and I'm glad we did that. So if you can't resolve issues, if you find yourselves constantly arguing and you're really not resolving anything, now let me tell you something. If you argue with each other and then y'all don't, like apologize, or you haven't resolved the issue and you go on about your business as if you have, that is not conflict resolution. That is not resolving nothing. Okay? All y'all did was sweep it under the rug with the rest of the stuff that's piling up, that's going to come out eventually. Trust me when I tell you, it's going to come out eventually. Why is that? Because the mind and the body always remembers. Okay? The mind and the body always keep score um, of what happened to you. So if you're constantly running away from problems or, confrontation, see, people hear that word confrontation and they think it's a bad word. They think of it as a negative. But you do, just look at it, take away the negativity, confront. That means you got to talk to the person or the people. That's what that means. You have to talk to them. So dispel with the negativity about, oh, that means it's gonna, we're gonna be fighting. Well, you're already fighting, right? Okay, you're already fighting. So that's not what the word conflict means. It doesn't necessarily mean more drama. It just means you are addressing, facing the issues. Okay, that's what that means. And I just gave you some some suggestions about how to resolve your conflict. If your relationships are important to you, okay, like mine are important to me. If they're important to you, your relationships are important, then you will find a way to work things out. Okay? Do that. Don't say you love somebody and then walk around, you know, continually hurting them and neglecting issues and leaving them unresolved. Because what is that doing to the person? Have you thought about that? What is that doing to the person that you claim you love? Love is as love does, okay? And again, so a big shout out to this special friend in my life. I admire his strength, his courage, his ability to reconcile. Because some people give up. They're like, bump that, I'm through. Nope. Okay, you don't know how to resolve no issues then. If you don't know how to resolve issues and you don't want to learn how to resolve issues, then hey, stay out people's faces. Okay? It's going to be hard in the beginning because it's something new, right? It's going to be hard. But it's not impossible. It ain't going to kill you. I need y'all to stop being scared. Stop being scared. Stop being stuck in the past. Stop being stuck on stupid with a lot of things. Okay? Move forward with something new in your life. Just because you ain't never did it and you didn't grow up, solving or talking about issues don't mean that you don't need to learn how to do it. Okay? That is not what that means. Trust me. I'm dealing with that in my family right now, and it's really hard. It is really hard to deal with people who do not, they don't want to. They're scared to learn a different way. They're afraid, and whatever, you name it. But the bottom line is they do not. Okay, participate in conflict resolution. They scared to talk about anything important. So guess what? Just sweep this under the rug. Shit, you'll be all right. Sweep it under the rug. You'll be okay. But miss me with that whole trying to heal stuff. And then what does that do to the person who needs to talk? What does that do? So I'm trying this pink. It's pink. This is Patrick Starr's One Size. And since I use a pink concealer, again, this ain't no tutorial, but I'm just letting y'all know. I use this pink concealer. Where did it go? Right here. It's pink, but I'm going to see where you at? Where you at? Where you be? Where you at? Quit hiding. I'm going to see how this is going to look, okay? I'm just trying to do a little light something, okay? See if that shows up, okay? Just a little light something. Anyway, I need y'all to do that, okay? It was hard for me. I mean, not really hard. It was new to me. So, you got a conscience, don't you? Do you have a conscience? You got a heart, right? If you say you care about your loved ones or your friends or whatever, your heart should prick you, you know what I'm saying? And let you know that, hey, that wasn't right, okay? You need to fix that. Now, if you don't have a conscience, that means you're a psychopathic, okay? You're a psychopathic. You don't you don't have no feelings, you don't care about nobody else. You're psychopathic and you need some help, okay? But if you love someone, you care about somebody, fix it. Know what I mean? So I think, when was it, 7 years ago? Dang, it's already been 7 years since I've been in my master's program, since I graduated. It's been over 7 years. But around that time, I snapped at my oldest daughter. Okay, we were on the phone. We were talking, and I snapped at her. So immediately I felt guilty, right? I felt, like, okay, you hurt her feelings. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to fix that. But since I had to get ready to go to school, I knew I was gonna handle that after I got out of class. So at 10 o'clock at night, okay? And I'm telling you this in great detail because I want y'all to understand the sacrifice that I made. Because normally I don't be out there driving at night, okay? Um, 10 o'clock at night, she lived in an apartment where she was on the second floor, but you had to go up 3 flights to do it. Honey, when you got bad knees like me, okay, climbing stairs will make you think about some things, for real, okay? But I knew I had to do it. I had to get over there. I had to apologize, um, which is what I did. So I climbed the stairs, knocked on her door. She was surprised to see me, you know. Hey, Mom, what are you doing here? I said, I just want to check on you to make sure you're okay. I was concerned about you because you really were caught in the crossfire. You didn't deserve me biting your head off like that. You know, I feel bad about that. So I just want to make sure you're okay. Okay? So that's what I did because I knew I had to. Trying to resolve the, if you know you hurt somebody's feelings, what are you waiting for? Get over there. Get on the phone. And let me tell you this. Stop texting everything. Stop hiding behind these text messages. It's just showing you are cowardly when you do that. Because when you was insulting people and hurting their feelings, were you texting them then? Were you? No. Okay? Pick up the phone. Call them and make it right. Because really, don't nobody have to make anything easy for you. You caused the damage, okay? You created the conflict, right? Don't expect the injured person to make you feel comfortable. Okay? You know you did something wrong. Don't sit back because you know the other person is upset. Because you know the other person is upset. What you going to do? Well, she upset. And get up off your ass, okay? Do the right thing and resolve it. Big shout out again to my friend who, because when I tell you, I was, okay, when I tell you, I know I had him look like, what the hell wrong with this woman? She is crazy. But I ain't crazy. I just ain't no punk. Okay? Be right back. The color of the day, evening, is green. Okay? Green. This is the post discussion. Okay? I was recording on my laptop, okay? And I got all the way pretty much close to the end and I accidentally hit the stop button. I was reaching for something on my table and I accidentally hit the stop button and I'm like, oh, great. Now I got to figure out how to, I didn't want to do another video, but I had to. So that other, okay, so what color is that? That's blue. Ooh, okay. So, so that other, look at me. So that other video is there. So I'm just worn out. It took me a long time to do this beat. It wasn't a tutorial, but I was just chit-chatting while I did my makeup. So it was a struggle because I'm not 100% yet. I am not 100% since my treatment. So anyway, yeah, I'm just playing with the colors, playing with the colors in the lamp. So anyway, I'm gonna edit that video, see how it looks and sounds, and then I'll post it, and then y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, all right, peace.